Hello again, YouTube. It's Skylar. Welcome back to my channel. And in this video, I would like to take some time aside to talk about some of my own personal insecurities about being transgender. Now, I know a lot of my videos have seemed really impersonal when related to specific topics, so I'd like to just take this time to sort of humanize myself a little more by revealing some of my own personal insecurities about being trans and what that might mean for a lot of other people going through the same thing that could probably relate. So one of my biggest insecurities about being trans has always been my weight. And this has always been something that's bothered me ever since I was very little. And going back to how gender dysphoria still affects someone regardless of whether they're aware of their transgenderness or not, I've always struggled with my weight. And I've never been an overweight person in my life. I've actually, for the large majority of my life, I've been almost severely underweight. Prior to starting hormone therapy, I weighed about 115, which sounds about right for an average cisgender female. However, you have to keep in mind that I am also 5'11". So, it was something that I struggled with a lot throughout childhood and adolescence, with self-depriving myself of food and constantly having body image issues because I always felt like I was overweight when that was clearly not the case. And that definitely was exacerbated after starting hormones, because part of what hormones do for male to female is estrogen will redistribute fat. And in the majority of cases, this means gaining some weight. And it took a long time after I had started hormones to sort of breathe and realize that, okay, it's not that bad. Because whether you're cisgender or you're a transgender woman, gaining weight, especially 40 pounds in under a year, is going to upset any woman. No matter if she's cisgender or transgender, there's going to be some emotional issues that come with that. And it took a long time for me to realize and feel more comfortable with myself as a human being and understand that my body is my own. I love my body. And realizing that sometimes body image issues are unjustified in the aspect of how much you weigh. Now, as of right now, I am in a perfect metric of BMI index. And like I said, it took me a long time to accept that my ideal for weight was not only unrealistic, but also very unhealthy. And I think a lot of younger women struggle with this as well. So I just wanted to point out that topic, that it's not just cisgender women. It also affects a lot of transgender women, especially from an early age with body image issues and weight self-consciousness. Now, going on from that topic, some of the other insecurities that I've had surrounding my transgenderness is my appearance in public. And I think this goes for, again, all women, but I think it's much more magnified when you're trans, because there's an extra layer of trying to fit in that can be a little overwhelming sometimes, especially on the beginning of your transition, when you're just starting to figure out, the fashion that works for you. And, there's this large temptation to compare yourself to cisgender women. And I still do this sometimes. And it's not that it's unhealthy, it's just that no one should be comparing themselves to another person as a way of gauging their self-worth as a human being. And that doesn't necessarily mean just physical aspect, but any dimension of a person's personality that may reflect on someone else, because that person is their own unique person, just as you're your own unique person. And you should never compare yourself to another person in way of gauging your own self-worth, because all people, regardless of who they are, have inherent self-worth. And it was something that wasn't until I transitioned that I began to realize my own sense of self-worth. And it's really hard sometimes, but you have to realize that you are valid no matter what. And it can be really challenging, especially when you see, like for myself, I'm a trans woman. So when I see especially other trans women who are particularly beautiful, I feel a sense of not self-loathing, but sort of I'm not trying hard enough, or I'm not good enough as them, when there's so many other factors that could play into that that have nothing to do with my motivation level or the amount of time that I put into transitioning. It's all psychological negative feedback that you feed yourself to tell yourself that you're not good enough. And there's no basis of it in reality. So that's something that I've definitely struggled with. And I think in large part, I've compared myself more to other trans women as opposed to cisgender women. I'm not sure if other trans women have this issue, but it's definitely something that's affected me on a daily basis sometimes, to where I don't feel adequate as a trans woman when I see others farther along in their transition who, in my opinion, just look spectacular. So, other than that, I think the other insecurity that I'll go over, which isn't really that big of a deal, but I have had a lot of issues with my health and diet when it comes to things such as eating healthy and exercising. And sometimes I feel as though I'm overexerting myself as a way of trying to overcompensate for my lack of maybe sometimes exercise, or sometimes I have guilt trips about the things that I eat. Eating fast food is obviously not the best thing for you, but a couple times isn't going to really do that much. But just trying to get past that sense of indifference towards things that aren't the most optimal healthy things to be eating can sometimes, take away the enjoyment of eating those things in the first place. So definitely the foods that I prepare have given me some anxiety, just because of the nutritional content and how I feel that's going to affect me health wise, even though it's incrementally not even a factor. I mean, if you were eating junk food every day, that would be something that you would need to probably address. But having an occasional snack or a treat or a dessert, that's not necessarily going to throw your entire nutritional balance off. So it's just, all things considered, when I'm bringing up this issue, is it's really important to look inside yourself and realize that Sometimes your insecurities don't have a basis in reality, and they're just insecurities. And that's primarily why I wanted to make this video today, and sort of help other trans women who may be struggling with some of these issues as well, but don't think that anyone else is going through them, so they don't really feel like they need to speak up about it. But if anyone out there is a trans woman and they've experienced these things, they are not alone. You are not alone. So just keep in mind that the array of things that trans women have to deal with, in large part, are all of the same things that cisgender women have to deal with. So it's not a unique situation if you have some insecurities around your self-image and your self-worth and your sense of self-beauty. So just remember to keep positive. If you're having any issues that are affecting you in a negative way, please remember to seek counseling or therapy. It's always important to talk to your doctors. I am not a doctor. This is not a health video. And with all that said, I hope some of that information was useful or helpful to anyone who may be going through some of the same things. And until tomorrow's video, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.